Since 9/11, 77% of our military has been deployed to a combat zone. According to Parker 2019, 1 in 5 of those soldiers have been seriously wounded. We all know somebody who has either served in the military or is serving in the military. If you don't, my name is Brian, and I'm a veteran. I'm also a student here at UALR. And I have credibility to speak about Soldiers Angels, my nonprofit organization, because I did this research myself, and this work is completely my own. Today I'm going to tell you about their mission. I'm also going to tell you about how active listening and supportive messages apply to create a positive experience, how a foundational principle and an ethical implication can be applied to our own communication. The mission of Soldiers Angels, according to Soldiers Angels 2023, is to provide aid, comfort, and resources to the military wounded, veterans, and their families. Their mission is to ensure all areas have access to needed community resources and support. Now, 2 ways in which you can volunteer with this organization is in person. They spend a lot of time going to hospitals, like VA hospitals, military hospitals, and actually sitting and talking with soldiers and families to kind of find out what difficulties they're having from different, depending on injuries and so forth. Another in-person option would be participating in like a food drive that they do. They do a lot of food drives to help the homeless and lower income. Now, one option that's kind of different is they do virtual volunteering. Virtual volunteering is basically like working with a church group or class maybe to write letters to support the troops and send those off, or putting together care packages to send off. Let me tell you, if you've ever lived in the desert, a box of Girl Scout cookies is the shit. So, sorry about that for the video. The fact remains, though, that we all need someone to listen to us at some point. We all go through different things, and that's where kind of their mission to really support the troops comes into play, because again, we all need somebody to listen to us at times, no matter what we're going through. Now, there's 2 communication concepts that support the positive experience for me, active listening being the first. And according to Communication in the Real World 2016, active listening is defined as the process of pairing outwardly visible positive listening behaviors with positive cognitive listening practices. So for an example, let's say you have a veteran who is, sorry, I forgot to change my slide. So let's say you have a veteran who is talking to a friend, and they're just talking about the difficulties they're having going through transitioning from military life to civilian life, and that friend, is really engaged in active listening. They're going to have positive body language. They're going to be attentive to what they're saying. They're going to ask open-ended questions to encourage continued conversation, and then possibly, suggest some options for them, like a support group at maybe, or not a support group that they could attend, or even like maybe there's a group on campus if they're college students that are that's predominantly for military and so forth. The second communication concept is supportive messages. Now, active listening and supportive messages kind of go hand in hand with each other, which is why I chose them, because supportive messages is defined according to Communication in the Real World 2016 as messages communicated in an open, honest, and non-confrontational way. My example for this kind of piggybacks off the first one, in that, let's say you have a veteran or a military member or even a family member who's experiencing post-traumatic stress disorder. And so they're in therapy and they're talking with their therapist and they're trying to, learn some coping skills and kind of process things and deal with life in general. Well, that therapist has to A, first and foremost, engage in active listening. But B, in regards to the supportive messages, they're going to really focus and hone in on, okay, let's get you new tactics and new tricks to kind of focus on is a new day and a positive day, and it's something that you have to look forward to as opposed to being kind of always stuck in the past. One thing I cannot stress enough to anybody in this class is that there comes a point in time in life where everybody needs help, and so don't ever be afraid to ask for help. Now, based on my research and reflection, for improving communication, my own communication, I chose foundational principle of messages are adapted in different ways to achieve similar results. This is defined according to the Department of Applied Communication what year is this? 2023. As communicators, we can adapt one message to connect with a variety of different people, and there are many different ways to achieve a particular outcome by using a variety of approaches. So, for example, soldiers' angels, again, you read the picture of like a food drive or visiting with soldiers, a wounded soldier in the hospital. Their whole goal is to support in various ways, right? But that can be done via the visitations, that can be done food drives, that can be done putting the care packages together. But really, like I said, variety of approaches, but with the same end goal, the same outcome. The ethical implication that I chose was caring with grace. Now, caring with grace is defined as understanding and meeting the needs of people we interact with, specifically approaching what we do with a positive attitude, showing forgiveness to those that may not deserve it, and interpreting others' communication compassionately and positively. And this is according to the Department of Applied Communications 2023. That's a really long definition, but it can be summed up with, I think, something that we all know to be true, and that is that we never know what someone else is dealing with in life. My problems are not your problems are different from our problems. But by having positivity and being compassionate when we're communicating with one another really makes things tick, makes things evolve, and makes it where you can feel like you can connect with another person, which is the whole goal of Soldiers Angels, is really connecting and being a part of something. So again, Soldiers Angels is a great nonprofit. I really enjoyed getting to learn a lot about them. Their role is vital in support to the troops, and especially their families. I can't stress that enough. Like families, the stress that families go through is a lot more than most people realize. Today we talked about improving communication, supporting a positive experience with communication concepts, and the mission of Soldiers Angels, again, to provide aid, comfort, and resources to the military. No matter what your stance is on the military itself, whether it's you support like the war on terror, you don't support the war on terror, even though most of that's over with. But one thing I just want to stress is that when you're in the military, you're there to do a job. And protecting the freedoms that we have is really our goal. So I hope that you guys will give that some consideration. Thank you.
You let them in.
Very good.
Let's see.